Going to do a series of unboxing videos for the Bronica RF 645 and the two lenses I picked up with it. I think it's kind of appropriate with the fact that this camera is quite old. I mean, obviously not in the film camera ranges, but for a modern camera, it's pretty old. So most people won't necessarily be able to come across one with the box and everything that someone would have, had when they purchased this thing new back when it was released. Over a decade ago. So anyway, this is the camera. This is currently the 65 millimeter standard lens. This one right here. I'm gonna set this aside for now because what I wanted to show you guys is the 45 millimeter f4 Xenon RF lens. This is the wide angle lens for the system. First thing in the box is the instruction manual. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because generally don't see the point in these, but you got some schematics of the viewfinder and the lens, and some characters I can't read. Not too exciting. First thing you come to in the box is the viewfinder itself. So this camera's viewfinder doesn't have frame lines wide enough for this 45 millimeter lens, so you have to have an external viewfinder that mounts in the hot shoe. This is the viewfinder. See, it comes in this little pleather synthetic bag thing. Mine is kind of peeling up everywhere. It's kind of nasty, but who cares? It's a little bag for the viewfinder. Here's the viewfinder. Probably can't see this on the camera here, but it does have a decent kind of multi-coating of some sort. You kind of have that purple sheen going. I think the coating on the camera itself is thicker than this, but it looks nice. You can't obviously see it through the camera, but you can see the frame lines even just looking through it like this. They're static, unlike the mechanical ones that adjust for parallax there in the camera. These don't, obviously, because it has no mechanical connection to the camera. All you do have is your diopter adjustment. I have it kind of right there for my eyes, and it's nice. It's plastic, but it's like a heavy, nice feeling plastic. I think, yeah, this is made in Japan, just like everything else. This whole system, it seems, is made in Japan. Super nice quality. This eye cup actually is great. I wish some of the DSLRs I had used before had this. It's super comfortable. I was using this the other day and loved it. It's a big viewfinder, bright. It has obviously kind of like a wide angle distortion thing going on, but you have no problem framing with it. And it seems like I should probably look at this manual, but it appears from the second set of lines you see in it that it does give you kind of an idea of if you're shooting something closer to the minimum focal distance, that it's kind of going to be further down. You see this kind of lower set of lines in the top of the viewfinder. So that's that. And then the last thing, the only other thing in this box itself is the lens. Here you go with the 45 millimeter f4. You can tell, well, I can show it to you. The lenses are very, very similar in size and shape. I would honestly say the housings themselves are identical. The aperture ring is identical. The focus ring is the same, but I think there's a slight difference potentially in the actual distances. Probably not by much. I think a little bit. The only difference I can visually see is obviously the depth of field indicators on a wide angle lens like this are significantly spaced apart compared to the 65 millimeter standard lens. Totally makes sense, for a wide angle lens. So that's it. The rear element, here you go, has a nice kind of purple sheen too, has some kind of good coating. It sticks out further than that one. I'll do another video comparing these two lenses just by themselves so you can see what I'm talking about. But this sticks out further in the rear than the other lens, than the 65. So that's the rear element. It has a really nice lens hood, standard kind of nicer pinch cap, not like a old Canon junk cap that has those little side pinches. And then the front element's tiny. I think it's a 52 or 58 millimeter filter thread. It doesn't actually say on the front of the lens, which is a little weird. It's nice though because, and you've probably seen this if you read about this camera, when you put the lens hood on it, there's a really nice, a really stiff click. It's super protected in there. This kind of tucks in, and then the element itself is tiny. I don't know, maybe it's the size of a nickel. Smaller than a quarter in diameter, I'm convinced. It's a tiny element. It's awesome, and this is what really impresses me is with the tiny element tucked so far in there and this hood that kind of folds in, it's like the thing's totally, unless some kid or someone stuffs their finger in there, it's totally protected. So I don't see the point in, you know, a protector filter. I'll admit I'm a protector filter person on a digital camera. My X100S, for example, has a protector filter on it. But with this, I don't see the point. It's super safe in there and it's cool. This is a great hood, and if you can see this potentially, it says RF 4565 Japan. Like I said, made in Japan. Everything is made in Japan. I love it. Reminds me of my current day Fuji X camera. But this is interchangeable with that one. It's the exact same hood. So if I break or lose one, which I don't see happening because this is a really nice plastic, like they say, you know, they don't make things like they used to. I have another lens hood, so that's the lens hood itself, and put the cap back on, and that's basically this lens.